In a world in crisis, can three idiots find hope in the darkest of places? Will love conquer all, or will hate win out in the end? This is a show called Hate.
Hello and welcome to a show called Hate, a podcast in which we explore love, hate, and everything in between in search of greater meaning and perhaps a little perspective. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
We're all together
We're back.
again.
Hey!
We're a tripod again.
Ooh.
Feels like
Tripods don't stand up very well with two legs.
Our mighty stool can now...
Oh dear.
before it was just a stool sample, but now it is a full stool.
I have to say, the energy in the room last episode was different.
It's because I wasn't there.
Some might say better.
No one said that.
No one said that.
I'm not sure I saw any reviews saying that.
I checked the guest book. No one wrote that.
Nobody wrote anything, in fact.
Someone wrote excellent. Keep it this way. I scratched that out.
That was me.
That was your wife.
Yeah.
Well, it is good to have you back.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you.
So.
We kind of say that in advance of losing you?
Yes, well, this is my last show for one episode.
Oh no.
So,
Unless we squeeze in like 7.
if you want to record
Which
a few.
we will not achieve.
Yeah. I'm going away
To the US of A.
to the US of A.
God.
Which leads me into this week's hate.
Oh.
No. Yes, I'm going to US and A.
Oh.
Week after next. Week after this.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
That's great.
That's where I'll be.
Oh, okay.
If you care.
Mystery solved.
Yeah.
Good times.
Now what?
That's the end of the show, I believe. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, it feels like the format has gone through so many radical changes lately. I suddenly can't remember what we normally do on this delightful show. I'm being facetious. of
Oh, I
course,
see.
yeah.
Very good.
Why don't you tell everyone what it's all about?
Well.
Oh,
That's
it's
good.
clever.
You see,
isn't it?
we're into our second series, you might say.
Yeah,
because
Arc 2.
Yeah, because we've passed like the quarter century mark. So, we're aiming towards...
We're an established brand now.
established.
I'd
Oh,
say.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, you're the branding expert. What does...
am.
when it comes to like a marketing campaign, what do you normally do once the brand is established? Do you relax?
Oh, no.
No.
Right,
yeah.
I'd say take your foot off the pedal, put your feet up,
The trick is to ease off the pressure.
Yeah.
I'd say it's about time for a rebrand. Let's start again. Let's
Sweet rebrand.
Let's take it all back to nothing. Start from literally nothing. Come up with a whole new concept, and maybe kick someone off the show. I'm not pointing anything,
I'm not pointing
but we need to get rid of dead weight. Is what I'm saying.
I feel like this is coming up before I go away.
Well, to be fair, like, we need to have, like, trial separation. Actually, there's a weird...
A/B testing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we've done one without you. We've done one without Nick.
We actually haven't. Have we never done one without you?
We've never done one without me.
Because you went on honeymoon.
Did.
I went on honeymoon.
Selfish, innit?
You're about to go.
I'm going on holiday
with your girlfriend.
with my girlfriend.
With your girlfriend,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So it's yes, similar.
Yeah, I've got a girlfriend.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, very
None of us
happy
have
for you.
seen her, but
No, yeah.
But yeah, so aside from, mixing up the format and trying new things, what this podcast is really about, at its core, is three increasingly alienated and irate old men.
Old Burks.
Yeah, old Bergs, settling firmly into middle age and complaining about things they don't really understand. But to sweeten the deal, we do talk about things we love.
We do indeed.
And we have a very sexy Facebook group where people can go.
Yes,
and,
it is very sexy.
It's quite sexy, and they can go and share their loves and hates for our ill-informed discussion.
And
on the podcast as well.
we'll talk about them.
We'll talk about them off air, behind your backs.
Yeah.
And then talk about them like we're not taking the mick out of you when we're recording.
But be safe in the knowledge that we really did take the mick out of you.
Oh, did
yeah.
we?
Off
And some people have raised concerns that we are reaching out to the audience to generate free content.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
us, which is not true.
It is. Oh no, it's not true. Yeah, no.
We're reaching out to the audience to generate free entertainment for us
Yeah,
as
yeah,
individuals, completely unrelated to the show.
Yeah.
Thing is, the audience gets to enjoy what we say. Why shouldn't we get to enjoy what they say?
I know.
Absolutely.
We're a not-for-profit organisation because we don't make any profit.
And all our funds are stored overseas.
Yay!
Well, to get the ball rolling, could I do something radical and dive in with my hate?
Oh,
That is pretty
my.
radical, but okay, I'll allow it this time.
Just this on this one occasion.
I hate
Oh no.
overly simplified equations in advertising.
Okay.
Oh, I know where this
By
is
which
going.
I mean, because the public are idiots, and I include myself in that, and because
I include you as well.
because marketing executives view us basically as cattle.
Yeah.
They know they have to sell concepts in very simplified terms, and so you get gems like work plus stress equals fatigue plus product equals sex. You want it. Divided by love, and it's.
I love that advert.
It's great, but it's never like, "Hey, we've got a good product. Check it out." It's always like, "We need to sound vaguely scientific, or we need to give a suggestion of data. How are we going to do that?" It goes, what we need to refer. I've got it sorted. But it's never like, we have a sexy new toothpaste. How can we sell it? It's like...
how do we get the science into this?
How do we get the science in? And so some guy storms into the kind of boardroom. And he's got his cappuccino, and he's just doing coke off his forearm. And he goes like, "Guys, we need to blow the plaque industry wide open." He goes, "But sir, we've been...
Plaque industry.
The field of plaque
It's
is
booming
growing
at the moment,
stale,
the plaque industry.
There's so much plaque out there.
And he goes like, "Okay, but sir, we've been advertising, our delightful toothpaste since the 50s. We sponsored Variety Time Smile Hours on American television." And he just slaps him. He just punches him in the face.
With a bag of crack. Just hits him around the head with it.
And he's got a lot of rings on.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to bleed.
So
And
many.
He's got love and hat tattooed on his hands because he bit off one of his fingers.
he goes, "I don't want to hear your excuses." And so, okay, what we need to introduce customers to, and it will be something like the octagon of mouth hygiene.
Oh, yeah. Like the 8-point plan.
Yeah.
That proves that this hits every single one.
Wasn't it like, for a while, it was like it tackles the 5 signs of...
7 signs of aging, wasn't
The
it?
7
The
signs of aging.
oil of Ulay ad was that. The 7
Yeah.
signs of aging. And there were things like wrinkles, crease marks, lines on the face. It's like, hang on, guys.
folds.
Additional folds.
Guys, stop, guys.
But you just know, because it's like, what's a sign of aging? I don't know, getting old. It's like, that's number 1. Like, it's like, okay, break it down.
Dangling ball bag.
So they go, no,
True story.
we need to break it down. It's like an Order 66 scenario where we go like, we need a number of points.
Yeah.
How about
Preferably an even number.
how about 50? No, that's far too
That's
high.
way too many.
1? No.
No, you idiot.
That's
No.
somewhere in the middle.
How about like 10 or 5 or 3? Okay, that's
Now
great.
we're talking.
Okay, 10, that's a good number. So we go like 1.
nice round number.
First sign of getting old. Can't find your keys. It's like, no, that's too vague. It's got
And
to be,
also, oil of Ulay doesn't help with memory.
it's got to be
Yeah.
skin related. You go, okay,
Purely skin related. Okay.
wrinkles. Brilliant.
Right,
Done.
Oh.
Write that down.
Dwayne, you are getting
No, it starts with a
raise.
W.
Flaking. Solid gold. There's no bad ideas in this room. Ooh. And then suddenly they become fixated on trying to fill those 10 points, which they just arbitrarily pulled out their arse.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me.
Fear of weasels.
I thought you were going to go in a slightly different direction.
Oh.
We watched a lot of adverts when we lived together because the telly was on quite a lot.
Yes, indeed.
Tended to be on.
It helped fill the silence.
And yes, exactly that. And there would be a product being advertised, and it would say as a caption underneath during the ad, 56% of people agree. And it would say 127 people were interviewed, and we used to sit there and work out what that actually equated
So that
to.
meant like about
And
60
it used to be about it was like 60.2 of a person, and that doesn't make sense.
How is this possible?
That kind of goes into your ongoing issue with Pointless, the
Yes.
TV show. does it
Pointless.
not?
I've never met anyone who's done the survey for Pointless.
Yeah.
Never. Or heard of anybody who knows somebody who's done the survey for Pointless.
So it raises the question: are they the 100 people they survey?
I think they're making it up.
Are
There, I said
they,
it.
or are they just people working in the office?
Yeah, it's like, oh no, there's a show tomorrow. Oh crap, let's do a run around.
Thing is, Family
Amy,
Fortunes.
what do you think? Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Family Fortunes used to do a similar format.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They'd ask 100 people, but they'd ask the audience that were in that night. Got it. Makes sense. Done. Right, you've covered that off.
Cool.
Yeah.
Pointless. There's so many different things that odds suggest you must know someone or four degrees of separation, know someone who knows someone who knows someone who's done the pointless survey.
You would think
I've
so.
never met anyone.
How do we know they're not doing the audience?
I don't. They say it's done via online surveys.
Oh.
I've read that.
Have any of us
Richard
ever
Osman.
gone and looked for this survey?
Yes.
Thing is, the people who would take this survey are probably unemployed. Who would take this survey, which makes me think it's bollocks because there's some quite intellectual questions on Pointless that unemployed people, sorry if you're unemployed, would not get.
But I think that's, again, you're kind of describing the whole bias problem, I suppose.
Oh yes, I'm a thankless fascist.
What we're getting
Sorry
at here,
about that.
Chris, is that you're very biased.
Yes.
No, I
Towards
didn't.
poor
I,
people.
I did not mean
In favour
your.
of poor.
Oh, I see.
So I didn't mean your biases.
Oh, no,
which
I've said too much.
Which are entrenched and horrifying.
Yes.
But I meant it's like when you're polling those 100 people. It's like if a lead forensic scientist, the butologist at Oil of Olay, goes, we need to survey 100 people. And just asks like the 100 interns who are all slavering cream on their
It burns!
But again, I'd be worried if they go like 62% of people surveyed. You'd be like, only 62% of our employees.
And they all worked there, yeah.
You're fired!
Well, the other 38%, they couldn't talk because their skin had all burned off. So that's,
There's certain
Works in their
statistics in adverts that are just impossible.
I remember ages ago there was a L'Oreal advert with Jennifer Aniston. And that shows how long ago this must have been, because I think she's immortal. But she was
never relevant.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the tagline.
no.
The Jennifer Aniston brand. Immortal, but never relevant.
Always there. But
I guess.
Sure.
Jennifer Aniston. I guess. Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, keeps on going, doesn't she?
Keeps on trying.
But yeah, this was when it's height of her sort of 90s
Friends
fame. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And she's doing a L'Oreal advert, swishing her hair around. And I believe she said the line, "Here comes the science." And then like a hole opened in the wall and like equations just poured out of it. like dust.
Delicious equations.
Just like Scrooge McDuck coins just poured onto the floor, but it was all like the square root of 3.781 divided by
then a
9.
scientist runs in and goes, "There's too much science.
There's too much. Too much.
Seal the vents."
Jenny, grab a broom.
She's running for her life. No! Not equations!
Well, it's when you get like, I think hair is bad for it.
Yeah.
As is
For shampoo?
No, I meant like
I see.
as a guilty party.
I see.
For shampoo adverts, it's when they go like, here comes the science, and it will show like a massive CGI hair.
Yeah, close up
which is
of it.
cracked.
Yeah.
Then these little
Glossy particles.
glowing red spheres come in, hit the hair, it then glows and gets healed, and then after a second it goes, representation
Representation only.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we thought this was film from an electron microscope. Yeah, cheers, guys.
But it's like, why even include it? I know that Iron Man isn't real. Like, I don't need a disclaimer during the Avengers.
Wasn't there another skin cream that invented the word Nutrillium,
Yeah.
which was meant to indicate there was a nutrient base
Oh, sure.
to this thing? But that's just a made up
Then
word.
they were quizzed on it and we're like, yeah, we made it up.
Yeah, that's bollocks.
So they always used to say like contains like amino acids because that sounded kind of sexy. Then they stopped saying that because I think
The word acid was putting people
yeah,
off.
yeah, I reckon,
Yeah,
I
like-
reckon that's it. So they started saying stuff like amino
Properties.
pepto,
Bismol.
amino peptopropanols and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
metho.
They like to lean on like protein, don't they? It's like,
Yeah.
it's got protein in it.
because I guess the public knows that protein is good.
Yeah.
Don't really know what amino acids are.
No.
even though they make proteins.
But it sounds bad.
Yeah,
Might as well say it's got antidepressants in it.
Yeah.
People then just lather it up and you'll feel great for the whole day.
It's got
It's like-
beer in it.
It's got beer in it.
It's beer.
But it's like when you, it's like if you get like if you ever look at the back of shampoo bottles and it says like, what are the ingredients? They'll always say like aqua instead
Yeah, instead of water. Yeah. Why is that?
That's the same principle because it
sounds more.
better than it is.
Yeah.
Well, people will start thinking they've paid too much for water. That's the problem they've got. They'd rather read aqua because it sounds exotic.
Yeah.
Sounds
Otherwise,
like a foreign
it's
body.
because on the back it says 97% aqua. It's like, hang on.
Also, I'd be worried about the 3%.
Yeah.
To make it a creamy white substance.
Yeah.
3% magic.
Yeah.
97% water.
So I think going back to the just equation-y kind of side of it, there's one advert in particular at the moment for a deodorant, I believe, which is playing a lot on YouTube. Or it's playing on my YouTube, so clearly the targeted
Stinky
ads.
Boys.
They're after you, know.
And it goes like...
Because you've been watching all those YouTube videos, like, how do I sort out my boy smell?
And all the thumbnails are of like people like slapping their face and going, "Oh,
Why do I smell so bad?
my girlfriend left me. Is it my smell?"
Brackets, true story, not clickbait.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's about like young, sexy people going to a concert,
Festival?
like an outdoor festival. Yeah, and they're like, they all look far too clean.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of like, you're not at a
You're not
festival.
festival. You'd be covered in your own feces by now if you were.
And it goes like, good times plus
Oh, for goodness
plus like dancing equals sweat.
Bacterial infestation in your pits.
Yeah, but you know,
But with our new Nutra aerosol,
Nutriblaster.
we'll make you smell good for a limited amount of time.
with our new odor paste,
With application trowel. Just slap it on. It only takes 10 to 15 hours to apply.
just dab it in
And
your
it'll
cracks.
dry in the next 36.
Just stroke upwards, not down.
Yeah. Do you have wrinkles as well? Solves those as well.
Slap it in your cracks.
Yeah. Slap it in your cracks.
There's the tagline. Pow! Write that down.
Anyway, so that's my grump.
I understand
Wonderful.
that.
I enjoyed it.
Who's
I can go next if you want.
You go.
So, mine is I hate the idea that political correctness as a concept is an incredibly recent creation, right? And you'll get the idea of this thrown at you when you're talking to someone potentially of an older generation, which is what I was when this came up. And it was interesting because I know what they're getting at. What I'm saying is this person I was talking to, they weren't racist, right? And this isn't a whole thing about racism and all that kind of stuff, but we were talking about how there used to be way back, I think it was in like the 40s or 50s, there was this band called, not band, like a sort of show tune singing people on telly called the Black and White Minstrels. And their gimmick was 2 white women who were singers, and 3 white men in blackface who would sing. And they were really popular. They were like really big deal on TV and like in the evening at like prime time and everything. But, you know, we were talking about this, and this person I was talking to was like, oh yeah, but they didn't have any political correctness and stuff like that back then. And I was like, yeah, but they still should have. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because there wasn't a term to use to throw it around doesn't mean everyone wasn't being awful racist. Do you know what I mean?
like, nobody was ever offended by that.
Exactly.
I never heard anyone complain.
It's like, why do you think we have it now if it wasn't for the fact that people spoke up back then about it? It's a little bit like looking back at like sort of caveman times when you just bash another caveman head in with a rock or something.
Yeah.
You just be like, they didn't have murder back then, did they? It's like, well,
It's unacceptable now, bashing someone in the head with a rock.
Exactly.
And I think we're better off for
we
it.
may not have had a word for murder. We had just "Boo," and then I'll just smash you. But it was there.
Yeah.
It was there.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because if you were to say to that person, like, you know, we didn't have political correctness back then. Nobody got offended.
Yeah.
I think somebody probably
Somebody
got
And
must
that's
offended.
the thing. That's what it's
Yeah.
usually like. That's exactly right. It's usually bookended with nobody got offended. It's like, no, though, because they did. Because it doesn't matter whether it happened 70 years ago or not. It's still racist. The fact that we say it's racist now means that it was racist then. It wasn't not racist just because loads of people didn't think it was. I'll totally take your point that loads of people didn't think it was racist. That doesn't mean it wasn't, though.
No.
All that means is we were all ignorant, disgusting human
were,
beings
yes.
back then. And it's, it's better that it's weird because it usually comes from a place where they're kind of defending the people of the past. It's like, oh, well, they didn't know. And it's like, well, no, okay. They didn't know because it wasn't publicised. But they should have known better, really. It is still pretty disgusting when you think about it. There's no excuse for it. Just because everyone did it doesn't mean it's okay, I guess is what I'm getting.
And it's also like, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
It's
Because,
like,
and actually, not with this person that I talked about recently, but with other people I've talked to before, there is a little bit of a sense of that. It's like, oh, well, we used to be able to do everything back in the day, but now everyone gets all offended about it. It's like, so you want to put blackface on and sing at 7 o'clock at night on a TV?
but this is the thing, though, isn't it?
Sounds like a lot of effort.
And I think this does tie to some extent into the recent news where Alex Jones, professional wobblecock
yes.
and monster has been banned from a lot of platforms.
Yes,
And everyone's going like, this is censorship.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it isn't.
It's not really, because it's lots of private forums, essentially.
That's the thing. And this goes into like, I mean, let's use the black and white minstrels as an example. It goes like, you could, if you wanted, still stand up
on the street.
and dress up as a black and white minstrel. There would be consequences. Yeah. You would offend people. But it's like,
someone coming up to me and going, "You're a racist asshole," that's not censorship. That's consequences.
Yeah. Because what they're saying is, I want to be on TV and do that. Well, you can't be on TV because those are private companies.
People run those.
And they have their own terms and policies.
And there's very little demand for your act now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're going like, why can't I go on television and do that? Why can't I say that? Why can't I go do that on Twitter? It's like, no, you can do it on a street corner like everyone else. I believe there are still laws allowing you to stand up and say things in public.
Say despicable things.
Now, if you say things that start a riot, or if someone walks up and punches you, those are consequences. And you will feel those consequences.
Yeah.
But like a private company, a platform has no obligation
Absolutely.
to publish you.
That's the thing, it's the sense of entitlement, Alex Jones specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They can't ban me. They can.
They
Yeah.
really
can. They can and they have.
Yeah.
And also, he had several years of not being banned by anyone. Like, tons of... He had a massive platform for ages.
Yeah.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because censorship's a really convenient way to deflect it off the subject of the fact that what this actually means is nobody likes what you're saying, or at least the vast majority of people don't like what you're saying. But they don't really want to come to terms with that because they have this idea of themselves as being like a voice for the people and saying what everyone's thinking kind of thing. And I honestly think that's how they get past it in their head.
Yeah.
Is they're sort of thinking, oh, everyone thinks this. I'm the only one who's got the balls to say it. And I think that comes in, it's the same sort of idea when people look back and go, oh, everyone gets offended these days, whereas back then they didn't. It's like, no, they did. It's just fewer people spoke up. Plus, we weren't as connected and communicated as we are now. Yeah. Like, back then, the reason that you had all of these people doing these awful, like, these celebrities and actors doing these horrendous sexual abuse things behind the scenes, and no one found out about it, was because we didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a network of anonymously sharing these stories and telling everyone about them. Whereas, so you could get away with awful stuff back then. Now you can't. Everyone was offended just as much, though.
Yeah. It's almost like it's like there's a reason. Let's bring up another thing, like the white supremacist music scene.
Oh, okay.
Is an oddly thriving pocket industry.
Wait, so are they songs about white supremacism?
Yeah. And like all the bands have names like White Thunder or like Thor's.
Isn't White Thunder a cider?
Dick.
Thor Dick. Yeah, like
that's like Nordic.
White Thunder's a cider.
That's White Lightning.
White Lightning.
But I bet that's a band as well, though. White Lightning.
Well, it must be.
Yeah,
but look that up.
That's a white
Don't look
supremacist drink. Don't drink White Lightning. It'll make you racist.
But it's like they identify with like Norse mythology. Very blonde, super Aryan. Yeah, like a white blonde, and they do like death metal about white supremacism.
Oh,
there's a reason.
You can't hear that anyway. Thrash metal,
can't
you? You can't hear that saying.
It's all lost, yeah. But you can't get... That won't get played on mainstream. No. And you say to yourself, is that censorship?
No.
And it's like, and it's not.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. And what I'm saying is,
let him speak.
And all I'm saying is, can't we give them a chance? Can't we let their voice be heard? No.
And I say taxes are too high.
My point is, like, it's a combination of, one... what they're saying is horrible, and major networks have no obligation to broadcast it, and they don't want to, and it would hurt a lot of people. But secondly, it's like their audience is actually very small and niche, because in this grand, like in the big spectrum of humanity, you've got this bell-shaped curve, and in the middle you have a lot of very nice people, and at the fringes you have a few weirdos,
awful people.
Few awful people, and because mainstream society doesn't want them, they've created their own little pocket fringe industry where they just move in their own circles. It's why you get neo-Nazis hanging out with neo-Nazis and not with the general populace.
Yeah.
But what people like Alex Jones want, they refuse to acknowledge that their actual audience is fringe and small.
Oh, yeah, but he would say, for example, I'm the most popular show in this demographic.
Yeah.
But that demographic's tiny.
There's 7 people listening
Yeah.
to you there.
That's the thing. What he wants is a free ticket to the main show
Yeah.
where all the normal people are hanging out, which gives him a false sense of legitimacy. Now, he's been banned from, what was it, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube's kicked him off. Twitter
Yeah.
is still...
Facebook, I think, hasn't yet,
Yeah.
but we're probably getting to that point.
Twitter released some daft statement where they were like,
This is just...
We want everyone to have an opinion.
more of an argument
Yeah.
for why
And
Twitter is a
and
cesspool.
it's like, well, whatever, do what you want.
Okay, cool.
but what you could say to him is, look, hey, I'm YouTube. I'm John Q YouTube. And
John
Alex,
QTube.
Alex, I'm kicking you off. But you have absolute freedom to go set up your own video streaming website
I doubt anyone will go there.
with your own rules.
It could be called White Tube.
WhiteTube.
White tube.
And PureTube.
Or you,
Yeah.
you white.
You white.
Hey, you white.
You white.
And he can do that. Everyone has absolute freedom. He's got money. He could probably do that.
I'm sure he could set up his own streaming service, yeah.
But
He won't get a
he
lot of
has to
viewers.
acknowledge that the only people who will log in and view him will be a reduced pool.
I think
That's the only
it'd be
difference.
fascinating to see the ratings of
I would,
that.
I would love him to give that a shot.
Absolutely fascinating.
It's like if you set up a water park and a guy turns up called Pissy Jim and he's like, hey, I'm Pissy Jim. I like pissing.
I do piss.
Yeah. And it's not a medical condition, it's a choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I enjoy urinating. In fact, I'm doing it now. And they say, sir, I'm really sorry. You can't come into my water park because you're pissing everywhere. And that will upset
Censorship!
everyone." He goes, you're censoring me. He goes, no, sir, but tell you what, here's a grant. You can go set up your own
Yeah.
urine-filled...
Yeah.
See how many people turn
Yeah,
up.
see how many people turn up. You don't want to piss in a pool, you want an audience.
Pissy Falls.
Piss in your own
Oh
pool.
no, someone spilt chlorine in this pool.
Yeah, and then when Chlorine Jim turns up at your piss park...
You will not want him there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then you'll have to censor someone.
Where are all these gyms coming from?
What's up with all these
What's up
gyms?
with all these gyms? I saw another, not to dominate, but I saw another.
Oh, I've just been
Yeah.
steamrolling over your topic. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
yeah. I saw another really interesting video, and it was about. Sorry, it's going to go on to video games for a second.
That's fine.
Very briefly
I might
then.
not contribute too much to this bit.
It's a video game a while back on the N64 called Zelda Ocarina of Time, and in it there is a fire temple as one of the levels you go through, and it's got this sort of like voices, like sort of monk voices in the background to
sure.
create a sense of like you're in a dungeon. So it's like
sure.
ho, 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 sort of. But the original version of the game had passages of the Quran being read
Oh.
in a sort of melodic way. Yeah. And you can actually listen to that on YouTube. If you go search for it, you can, the original Fire Temple music from Ocarina of Time, you can listen to it, and you can hear quite clearly these voices speaking in that language. And right up to the release of the game, they were umming and ahhing about whether they should do it. But the original concept was because it sounded cool and sort of abstract and foreign and exciting and stuff. But then at the very last second, they were like, you know what? No, we won't do this because we're probably going to offend the Muslim community, and there's no sense in doing that. We'll just take it out and just leave the instrumental behind it. And still sounds fine. No one cares. But of course, some people care, because in the comments below, there's people going, well, this is censorship. This is ridiculous. You shouldn't have had to do that just because you were worried of offending people. It's like, well, but they had a choice.
Yeah.
They had a choice when they were making a game. No one forced them. They thought about it, and they were like, I don't want to piss someone off. That's equivalent to me going up to someone in the street and thinking, I could kick you in the shins right now. But actually, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to kick you in the shins. Like, that's something I don't want to
Don't
do
want
to you
offend
today.
you by kicking you in the shins.
Yeah, so I'm not going to offend the whole Muslim community by putting this in our game. We're going to choose to remove it. That isn't fucking censorship. That isn't pressure from minor. It really pisses me off that we can't just make what might just be considered to be a good decision without it being labelled as being pandering or worried about offending people. I am worried about offending people, but that's a legitimate, genuine thing I want to be worried about.
Yeah.
Surely
I don't want to
that's-
hurt people.
That's another word for that is called just being a nice
Nice
person.
Yeah.
Or trying to be a nice person,
Certainly.
at least. Yeah.
And yet, apparently, it isn't now because you're only doing it because you're pandering or because you're worried you'll offend someone. The truth being, well, yeah,
Don't offend people.
yeah, that's
I don't like offending people, generally
good,
speaking.
pretty good rule for life.
It's the same reason when I'm walking down the street, I don't, shout expletives.
No.
Even though it's really fun and cool. And it's like, it's not that I
pretty
don't
good.
enjoy swearing. I do enjoy swearing.
I fucking love it.
I fucking love it. It's great. Shit.
Oh,
Cocking great.
I'm very offended by what you've just said.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
I'm
Chris.
fucking not.
Oh, you dumb. Oh, you're such. Oh, bad.
But it's like, I don't do that because I think, oh, what if a child walked by? Or what if, like, a parent...
If a child walked by, he would think you were a hero.
Yeah, give you a high five.
Oh, right, look at that guy.
yeah.
Helmet boy!
And then I skateboard away.
Yeah.
Wearing a helmet.
Wearing a helmet for safety.
How do you do, fellow children?
You got hate for us, Chris?
Yes.
Sweet.
Here it is.
Okay.
Well, along the same lines of Nick, actually.
Oh, interesting.
I hate fantasy football.
Oh.
It doesn't relate to what you said in any way.
That's nothing at all like
No,
what I said,
but I thought I'd just give you a misdirect
I'm
there.
quite shocked that you would actually say that.
That is
I
the
am
reason I hate it.
Oh.
Everyone assumes I'll be good at it and love it, and I don't. I flaming well hate it.
Are you bad at it?
Yes.
There
And
we
I'll
go.
tell you what, no, well, it's
we
just that I will do it. And obviously, fantasy football has been around for probably as long as we have. In the newspapers, historically, it was in the Sun. You pick your players at the start of each season, and you follow it as the season went on, and you pay a fee to enter. Now it's free to do online, but you usually have a group of friends who go, "Well, should we put a tenner in for fantasy football? Bants, oh, lads.
Lads, pants.
I lose interest within 2 weeks. I do it, and then I'm like, why have I done this? It's just boring.
What, can you briefly explain how it works?
I'd love to.
Thank you.
Fantasy football, so you get 14 picks of Premier League players.
It's a scam created by the liberal media.
Yeah. Hear me now!
They can be from any teams.
From any Premier League team.
Right.
And there's a point scoring system based on position, things they do within the games, if they get yellow cards, if they score a goal,
Okay.
so on and so forth. And you get a budget and you pick within your budget.
Sure.
And then you enter leagues. There's a big national league with millions of people in it, or international, I should say. And you can also do private leagues with your friends.
Fine.
And that's when you do it for money and everything. But people always say to me, "Oh, I bet you're good at fantasy football." No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't even really play it. I lose interest every year.
Is it because you talk with such authority about anything football related?
Yes.
But as you have said on this podcast before, most of that is
Bollocks.
kind of bollocks
Yeah.
slash like estimates.
Belligerence is the best way to talk about football. If you say something firmly enough, everyone will believe you.
And everyone will echo it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Oh, I heard Chris Ray say something interesting the other day." Oh, it was funny. So yeah, it doesn't interest me at all. It's just one of those things where I think, yeah, probably everything about me should like this, but I just don't. It just bores me. It's looking at a computer screen. It's like video games in a way, I guess.
I
It probably
think
stems from my hate of video
It
games.
may be connected to that because it sounds a little bit like sort of like resource management, like putting together a team in an RTS kind of game.
And you receive points.
You receive
and there are
points.
points.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sounds a hell of a lot like a video game.
Exactly that.
basically Mario.
Thing is, I have to submit my email address and a password to play this game. The bastards have got my contact details now.
So they're always
And I don't
saying,
even want to play the game.
Chris Ray, I bet you'd love this game.
Data capture. That's the problem there.
So do you have to pick? I'm just going back to the rules.
That's fine.
I'm
No,
intrigued.
you carry on.
Do you have to pick defenders?
Yes. So you pick 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders,
Okay.
5 midfielders, 3 strikers.
So how do you get points from your defenders? Because they're not going to score goals, are they?
Clean sheets.
What does that mean?
If the other team they're playing in the real world, inverted commas, don't score a goal in that particular game, they get points
As defenders.
As defenders.
But is that not basically an assumption that they're good defenders rather than the other team are
Shit.
attackers?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of both, to be
I
honest.
see, yeah.
But it's sort of, you've got to pick based on who they're playing and their record during the season and the fee and all this sort of stuff. And some of it's quite intricate, but it's just, I'd rather just watch a football match with,
It's really funny because everything you're saying sounds to me like the best part of football.
There you go, see? That's the difference.
Like I might play that despite knowing fuck all about football and how to pick any players at all. I'd be really awful at it, except for the fact that you're awful at it and you know a lot about football, so maybe I'd be good at it.
Well,
I
one
don't
year
know.
I just deliberately entered the worst team I could pick.
And they won.
And it said, I said, my aim this season is to get 0 points, but it's impossible. You can't do it. You get allocated so many points. But at one point it said, you have too many Sunderland players. It's like, oh, okay. I know he's getting relegated then.
Oh.
So when you set up like a group of friends, don't you? Is that your league?
A
as it
league.
were? So what limits are there stopping you from all putting like Ronaldo because he's a good footballer?
There's a budget.
Oh, I see.
So you get £100 million budget. Well, that's the fake money. It's not real money. It's even more fake than Monopoly money.
Could be keeping the economy alive for all we know.
Yeah. And you've got to pick these. I think it's 15. I maybe said lower before, but it's 15 players, but you've got to be within that budget. So if you picked all the best players, you would obviously go over budget.
But you could have a player that someone else has.
Oh, absolutely.
you almost definitely will,
Absolutely.
of course.
There are millions of people playing.
Sure.
So some players are the most picked in the game. Like, you get 84% of people pick them and this sort of thing. You get all these intricate stats behind it now. But I just find it so dull.
Yeah, to be honest,
I just
sound
glaze
like
over when people
You've
talk
killed
about it.
for me now.
Yeah, I was excited at first when you said fantasy. I thought it was like
the website
Dungeons and Dragons.
Does the website automatically keep track of your points?
It does.
Yeah.
Fantasy Premier
Okay,
League.
so that's shit, right? And here's why.
Okay.
Because like the game is just picking stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
Then it's
you
just
do
sit back.
weekly transfers. You get weekly transfers. You
Okay.
can play a wild card during
Right.
the season where you can change your entire team without paying
You
a
can only
fee.
do that once.
Yeah, but you can also make transfers, but you spend your points.
I think you've been earning.
Just
You've
answered
been
my
earning.
question. Yeah, so I was going to say.
So that's how you sort of change
Okay,
players
it's more of a
throughout.
game there then.
How many points are you likely? I mean, are we talking like, I finished the season, I got 10 points? Or are we
No.
talking like 40,000?
You'd be you're nearer with 40,000.
Really?
It's probably into the thousands.
Jeez.
But what are points? What
Yeah. As-
unit of measurement are we using? You're only playing against other people.
As is so often the case in video games, you could just take all the zeros off and just have it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to win the money.
There's a cash prize.
In our league, it's a tenner in. But the amount of effort I would put into winning 50 quid,
Yeah.
it's disproportionate.
I think it's for those who love it, isn't it? It's like if you love the stats of that world.
It's just. But I know someone, and I won't name him, James Pegram, who plays it religiously
Really?
with work every year. Oh, he loves it. He's got spreadsheets.
I was
He's made
gonna
his
say-
own spreadsheets based on it.
Is he not very good at it?
No, he's really good at it
Ah.
because he does so much work to it.
Oh, sorry. What I meant was, is he not very good at it? Which I'm like, is he not?
That's exactly what he just
Interjection.
said.
No,
It is.
I wasn't saying like, he's not very good at it.
Oh.
I was saying like, is he not very good at it? No, that sounds wrong. It sounds right in my head.
Same thing.
Let me rephrase that.
Isn't he?
Isn't he very good at it?
Oh, he is very good
Oh,
at it.
good,
Oh, I
yeah.
see what you
Ah,
mean.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I get it now, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
he is very good at it.
Yeah.
He's a natural talent.
He,
And
he,
has
he
those
tends to win
spreadsheets.
money every year.
Wow.
But he
that's-
puts a lot of effort into it. You've seen him before Cheltenham races
Yes.
when he does a big spreadsheet. That's across a whole year.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I was about to bring up gambling because I do feel as though the mindset you'd have to enjoy it is a bit like the mindset of I followed this horse's career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm invested
I
emotionally.
have principles. I have
That horse ran
feelings.
really well
That
in the
horse-
last 3 races over the last 2 years, so it's probably going to be quite good today.
And again, we've got a friend who's like that. I won't say his name, James Pegram. And he's like that with horses.
Yeah, loves a good horse.
Loves horses. He follows the horses, follows the form, follows everything.
The farmers wonder what
he
the fuck
does.
he's doing.
He does do badly at that. To be
Does
fair.
it?
Oh,
Well, that's the
it's
thing is with
terrible.
horse racing, though, is that it doesn't matter, does it?
No, well-
Knowing the fucking stats doesn't seem to make any fucking
Not
difference.
usually. No, a lot of long odds horses come in. I won money on the Grand National just betting on any old horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Just went, yeah, that'll do.
I've won money betting on any old horse.
This is only tangentially related, but there was a computer game.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. Don't turn off. Don't turn off.
We pulled it back.
Which was a strategic
Now you're talking about language.
strategic kind of game, like a bit like a managerial kind of game. So a bit like this.
Football Manager.
But you were doing like historical Europe
Mm.
as like a king empire builder.
Oh sure.
And because at some point in history a French king had made his horse a duke,
Oh yeah.
the game had the capacity to elect
Horse.
A horse. Oh
Yeah.
Okay.
So the gameplay looked like a map.
This does sound a lot like fantasy football.
There was really
actually.
no kind of interface at all. But
Everyone
you,
picks the horse.
But you could put a basically like I want to talk to that country, and then like a little head would pop up, just like a
Oh.
little 2D drawn head of that country's ruler.
Sure.
But due to this weird glitch or this weird outcome, which the developers didn't foresee, a guy basically bred the horse, where he elected a horse as like a duke, and then married him off to like this princess.
And the game let him do that.
And then the child was a horse as well.
Brilliant.
Oh my god.
And it kept because it was something like, you know, the child would like inherit some of the qualities of the parent or something like that. So he basically populated all of Europe with horses. And that's not entirely related. I just wanted to bring
That's
that up.
a great story. I love it.
There we go. Sentient horse people.
I used to play a video game that was quite similar called Football Manager.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Fantasy football.
I was going to mention
And that, my good God, is the most stressful game in the world. I've put
Really?
holes in walls because of that game.
But why then did you enjoy playing? Well, I don't know if you enjoyed it, but you would play that, but not fantasy football.
It is. I can't really explain it. It's weirdly addictive.
What
Football
Championship
Manager.
manager? Oh, Football Manager.
Or whatever. Yeah, it used to be called that.
Yeah.
It's very strangely addictive. You can play it all day and it feels like no time has gone at all. It's weird. I genuinely can't put my finger on it.
I'm sensing a crack in your armour
Oh.
when it comes to video games.
No.
It's a
crack.
weird crack.
This
though,
is. I've
because
not played it for years. I should say at this point.
That's true. Yeah.
It's a crack that, for me, would say, as he likes Football Manager. I'm going to talk about you like you're not here now.
Okay.
Because he liked the guy named Chris. Because he likes Football Manager, he'd probably like fantasy football. And I fall into that trap of being the kind of person that Chris then hates.
It's the sort of thing. But I like football. I may have mentioned football once or twice. I know, right? So people automatically assume, because I used to be really good with stats and all that relating to football, and I'm not so much anymore. People are like, "Oh, I bet you're good." No, I'm not.
It's a bit like when I was young and I drew a lot, obviously, because that's what I do. I draw. And I would get presents from relatives and family members, and it would be like a pack of oil paints. It's like, Nick's an artist. Here's some oil paints.
Yeah.
Despite needing to work and craft on the use of oil paints over your entire life, it's a discipline that you choose. And I drew with a pen, and I drew comics. But yeah, no, thanks for the oil paint, Dad.
I was going to bring this up. I was like, oh, welcome to the world of the nerd.
Oh, you're a geek. Here's a Game of Thrones sword. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, you like them comics? Do you like that? I can't think of a funny comic reference now.
The Hurricanes.
That was
For a football team.
You like cartoons? Yeah. Do you like that Sailor Moon?
Sailor Moon.
No, I've never seen it. It's like, I saw this movie last night. It was an old one. It was like called Blade or something like that. It was like vampire. John, you're a nerd.
John Blade.
Get it in.
You love a Blade, don't you? No, I don't really.
John, get in here.
Tell us about it.
You like them Marvel comics?
Hey.
Oh, knees up, Mother Brad.
So, like, little Timmy football over here.
Yeah,
It's got it so
feel
hard.
bad for me. Feel bad for me.
Wearing a football shirt and punching an opposing
nerd.
fan. Punching me.
Yeah.
I'm going to a football match this weekend, so
Oh, come on, you Reds.
I won't. No.
fuck.
Blues.
Shit, Blues. I didn't actually know that. I did that.
Come on, Blues.
What's that time, Rev?
Well, I'm glad you asked, John. It's time for Local News Roundup. This
News.
week, news.
I love news.
Locally.
Love news.
Local news.
Can't wait.
Local to where you might be, but probably are not.
But if you're us,
Are you
it
in
is.
Bedfordshire?
No.
Oh, then this is not local to you.
Oh.
But if you are listening and you're in Bedfordshire...
I'm not.
Phone in
no,
now.
not you. Not
Phone in
you.
now if
I'm
you're-
talking
if
to the
you're-
microphone.
you're
Stop looking at me.
Sorry.
Stop making eye contact with me. Are you...
No,
microphone?
I'm not.
No.
But shut up!
I can still hear you.
It's
It's an audio medium. I can
local
still hear
to Bedfordshire. Shut up!
you. Theoretically, I'll say yes.
Not you.
No, I'm helping.
Well, I'll read you a headline
Doesn't
about.
sound like it.
Shut up! You're ruining local news. I'll read you a headline from Bedfordshire,
Oh, good.
which is where we are not, but you might be.
I am.
Not you.
Okay.
Furious mum makes Tesco complaint after £1 alphabet potato shapes fail to spell out son's name. This is a story.
This is amazing.
This is a story. One woman faced an issue when the potato letters in her £1 bag of Alpha Bites did not spell out her son's name.
What's that problem?
Tarquin.
Yeah, she was very, very upset about it. Now,
There were no
I'll
vowels
give you
in
a
his
guess
name.
each what the kid's name is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, can I just ask a question? Am I
Yeah.
overthinking it when I say, is it a word which has
No
more
vowels.
than one of each letter?
No, you
Oh,
are
it's-
overthinking it.
Oh, okay, yeah, so...
It's just a name.
It's a fairly root. It's not a common name. It's a routine.
Donald.
Leroy.
Neither of those.
That's weird.
I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
Wolverine.
Logan.
Very good.
Oh.
Logan.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
a nerd. You'll know this. You're a nerd.
Wolverine's name, isn't it? It's Mr. Sharpclaws.
Writing on Tesco's Facebook page.
Oh, God.
Nicola
With
Hart,
alphabet letters.
With alphabet letters. Nicola Hart,
crayon.
30, explained that she had actually purchased the frozen letters to help her son learn to spell his name.
Well, maybe
Logan.
do it another way.
Now, I'll show you this photo in a minute, but before I do, because this is great, I'll give you a bit of context. So, she, in the alphabets, she found the letters G, A, and N,
Okay.
but she was missing the letters L and O.
Fine.
What she found to replace them was an I and a C. So this name on this photo spells out the name Ikgan.
Yeah, that
There
says
it is.
That says Ikgan, right?
That says
there.
Ikgan. So poor old Logan's now got himself a nickname for life.
All right, Ikgan. But
All right, Ikgan.
your mum sent in a picture. of your
Personally, I
name.
think Ikgan's quite a good name.
Did
Yeah.
you not have a T?
Yeah,
Did you
chop
not
off a bit.
Bite a bit off?
So poor Nicola, stressing balls presumably by
I do
now,
feel quite sorry.
said it is misleading. Why would you sell them as alpha bytes? Really, they should just be called certain letter bytes.
Yeah, let's call it.
It's less catchy though. That's what
Some letters, brackets, in a bag.
Obviously, the person who made these from Tesco can't have children.
Yeah. Tesco didn't make them.
It's very judgmental.
Bit harsh.
What's her name?
Nicola.
Nicola.
Anyone
Very
with Nick in their
judgmental.
name's a dick anyway.
Tesco responded to this complaint.
Which I am astounded by,
Yeah.
I will say.
They did not need
This
to.
absolute buffoonery of a complaint with, I am sorry that you did not have the correct letters in your pack of Tesco potato alphabet letters. I understand that you were disappointed with the range of letters you had. The bags are packed with a random selection of letters, and we don't state that you will get every letter. I apologise for any disappointment this causes. Someone took time out of their day to write that.
I'd love it if the bags were classically like 16 pieces. You know, so it's like, you're never going to have all the letters anyway.
But I thought that was... I used to have alpha bytes.
Yeah,
when
I
I
did
was
as well.
younger. A couple of years
And
ago.
those smiley face ones.
And the smiley face ones.
Yeah.
I never assumed for 1 minute that every letter of the alphabet would
No,
be in there.
I would always be like hoping that I'd be able to spell my name, and
Yeah.
it'd be like a luck thing though. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be like, this is an outrage.
But even then, if you do spell your name, so what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
You're
just
just going
a
to eat
little
them
treat.
anyway.
Well, no, if you do spell your name, then you frame them.
Oh, sure.
You know what's astonishing? It's when you hear these stories, and when you were younger, you'd hear these stories, you think, oh, old people are crazy.
Crazy.
I think you realise, like, Nicola, 30.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's our age.
shit, we're older than
Our
Nicola.
age.
I
So
just-
they, I mean,
I don't even know where to...
I enjoyed that when I came
That's
across
fantastic. That is out.
That is astonishing. I can't even pass it. Like, you've got to have time on your hands.
I'm going to get some potato alpha bites.
I mean,
I'm going to report back on this podcast and tell you whether I
Should we
spell
go
my
and
name.
buy a bag of them for one
We can
episode,
each buy
and
a
then
bag.
See if we can spell out our names.
Yeah, and if we can't spell our own names, let's see what we can.
And then we'll
spell.
eat
yeah.
them dry on air.
What if? Right, I'm just spitballing. What if mine all come out and they spell white power? I'm just saying.
I mean, that's a sign, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe
That's a sign.
Maybe I'm part of that demographic.
I think if Tesco's had the balls to do it, they should have replied, but only using the letters.
That would have been great.
Just left spaces. That would have been amazing.
Some supermarkets are quite good for that sort of thing, though, like responding sarcastically.
They are,
There are
yeah.
some golden ones out there on social media.
I think like the only way you can turn that around is if you're. Oh no! I was going to say it, and then I instantly hated what I said. It'd be if like Tesco's then started a motion and were like, you know what? God damn it, Nicola, you're right. You know,
We need one of every letter.
all our alphabets bikes should have one of everything. You know,
But
But if you have
imagine
one of
that-
everything, you can't spell a lot of names either.
You
Yeah.
have to build a new machine to sort
Yeah.
them all out.
Yeah,
That sounds expensive and pointless.
but is it worth it? The answer is no.
Basically, kids, sorry to ruin this for you. If you eat your name in alpha bites or alphabet spaghetti, your shit comes out still the same.
that is very true.
It does give you superpowers.
That's the words to live by.
Get a chip.
Get a chip, yeah, and then you can call yourself I.
Actually, with a chip, you can probably spell anything. You just put them
Yeah.
all together, make any letter with that.
That's gross, though, isn't it? Putting your fingers all over chips.
That's true. I'd never.
Ugh.
Get some mashed potato.
Mashed potato. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, get some mashed potato, slam your face into it. You got an imprint of your
There
face.
you go.
Brilliant. That's way more personal. than your name.
Self-portrait.
Slap it in the cracks. You'll be fine.
Slap in the cracks. Wow.
A woman complained to Tesco after a self-portrait of her son in mashed potato looked nothing like him, and started using racist slurs.
You got any?
Oh yes, I have got some hates, and
Yeah.
I've got sort of food-related hates
nice.
and loves for
Oh,
you.
we've got
if
a theme.
if you'll indulge
Synchronicity.
me. Well, I've got one here from Liz Thatcher.
Oh,
it's
friend of the
it's
show.
a very pretty name. Who says, "Rumor has it that you're recording tonight." Well, the rumors are true.
I mean, yeah, you probably told her.
I did tell her. Yeah,
yeah.
That's where she heard.
Thank you for pulling back the curtain.
Yeah. I would like to submit my hate, and hate is in capital letters,
Oh, fuck,
gas.
this is going to be a big one.
of afternoon tea,
Oh.
Oh,
I know,
hang on
right?
a minute.
costing £12 per person.
Okay.
on average and features tiny sandwiches in strange flavours, like cucumber and tiny bits of cake.
Cucumber isn't a strange flavour.
Cucumber is an
Let's
abomination.
not get started on cucumber again.
That's a bigger
Cucumber
issue.
in bread, I agree with you.
No, cucumber and bread's great. What are you on about?
No.
No.
Because they are made to share, you have to offer up the good sandwiches to your companions.
You don't have to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Liz,
Carry on.
chill out.
Please
But it's
continue.
polite to.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I guess.
Please
I get
continue.
more satisfaction and quantity from a £3 Tesco's meal deal.
Yeah.
Why are people so obsessed with afternoon teas?
I once made a very large faux pas,
Oh no.
and I had lunch out in town. And a couple of hours later, Ali and I stopped in a coffee shop.
Too much fibre. I think it's the problem.
I was very, very full after our very big lunch we'd shared together. So we stopped for a little coffee. Ali ordered a coffee. I thought, you know what I want? I want a cream tea. Like,
Oh.
I don't know why I wanted this, because I was already uncomfortably full, but I was going to get a little scone, I was going to get some cream and
shit.
jam, and I was going to get a tea with that. But I asked for an afternoon tea, because I got very
no.
confused. She was like, that'll be 12 quid somewhere. I was like, that's very expensive for a cream tea, but I'll pay it, because I'm afraid to bring anything up at this point. And then it took ages, and then it arrived, and it was like this 3-tiered metal thing with like sandwiches and cream cakes and stuff on it, and a cup of tea, and I was like, shit, what am I going to do with this? So we wrapped it all in serviettes and hid it in Ali's handbag.
Nice.
You were too ashamed.
I didn't want to say £12 sounds like a bit much for a cup of tea. Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat.
I actually take more issue with a cream tea being called a cream tea.
Yeah, because it's fucking nothing
Doesn't
to do with
mean
that.
anything.
No.
Isn't it just a tea
And a scone.
and a scone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the scone doesn't necessarily have cream with it.
That's bullshit, isn't it?
I mean, maybe it has to be a cream tea. I don't know, but
I work with a very nice fellow who is from Devon.
Oh.
Okay.
And I believe, because
I'm home.
I'm a
of
big
cream tea.
scone fan.
Yeah, I love scone.
Love scone.
You love them dry though.
Like you
That's
wouldn't-
insane.
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know how you don't
Thing is-
choke
no,
to
but
death.
I'm easy.
To death.
I'm easy with either. Like, I love jam, so I'm very happy if I've got a creamy jam scone. But I also love a dry scone. It's lovely. But there's a big Cornwall, Devon rivalry.
Are we going to talk about
There
cream
is.
or jam first?
Which order you put
Yeah.
it in?
Is that what
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
talk about?
Quick poll. Cream then jam.
Yeah, cream them jam.
Well, I had scones at the weekend, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And I went jam, then cream.
You're mad.
But then you're putting cream on bread, effectively.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I was talking to Adam, and I believe he does it the Devon way.
Which
is what you just described.
Jam.
Jam then cream.
And I said, Adam, I can't get behind that. He's like, why? I said, well, when you make toast, what do you do? He said, you put butter and jam on it? He goes, yeah. What order did you put them in?
Yeah.
And he's like, and honestly, he's like, you've blown it wide
Oh,
open.
really?
Yeah, he's like, I never thought of it like that.
See, my reasoning is whatever you put on first, you'll put more of on.
Yeah.
So I want more cream.
The butter or the cream, it's a hydrophobic layer.
It's a
Just-
lubricator.
yeah.
But butter and cream aren't the same thing,
They're related.
are they?
They're
Yes.
like siblings.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
like
Yeah,
brother
that's
and
not.
sister. That's not up for debate. Are they though, John?
Fine.
Are they?
Sorry, I'm getting off topic, but I'm actually going to disagree with Liz because I
don't think she dislikes afternoon tea. I think she dislikes the cost involved.
the pomp and circumstance of it.
Yeah, true. Plus, also, you don't get like it's never enough for a meal.
No, exactly.
You just get these tiny little sandwiches.
The thing is, like, I'm often surprised at how much good stuff you get out of it because I'm so
There
happy.
is good stuff there.
I'm
that's
so
true.
happy when a scone turns
Then
up.
you want more of it.
I don't think you're hearing me. I'm so happy when a scone turns up.
But why wouldn't you rather have 2 scones?
I think often you do get 2 scones.
All right, why wouldn't? Fuck me.
And
Why wouldn't you rather have 3 scones?
Oh,
You know what point I'm making.
Is that an option? No, my point is like you get cake, and you get scones,
And you get sandwiches.
and you get sandwiches. Literally, they're like my 3 favourite things of the planet. I love the bread family, basically.
Yeah, that
Big
is
fan
true.
of flour.
I don't know. I just feel like it's all in such small quantities that it's like laughing in the face of what a sandwich is. It's laughing in the face of what a cake is.
I'd rather have a foot long, a whole cake, and a massive fuck
And
off
10
scone.
scones.
And I would be very happy with that as well.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's why.
But society would frown at me if I did that.
John,
Let them frown.
I wouldn't frown at you.
I've got a more positive food related one
give something
here.
positive.
This is a love. This is from Emma Louise.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Emma Louise.
Hi, Emma.
She says, I love McClellan's seriously strong cheese.
McClellan.
Oh, sponsorship.
Oh, shit,
an
yeah.
opportunity.
I like arbitrary cheese, she says.
Non-brand cheese.
Spread on toast with a sliced apple. She doesn't say which kind of apple.
Oh, cheese with apple.
It's like a little ploughman's lunch, but you can have it for breakfast. Try it. Go on. It's usually on offer in Asda, because ain't nobody got time for Sainsbury's prices.
Whoa! What? Is Emma a real person? I feel she may be.
I do know
I
Emma.
feel she may be a corporate plant.
I was going to tweet the cheesemaker, but they haven't posted since 2014 or something. And then she says,
Too busy making cheese.
From Emma at Asda. Oh no. No.
Buried under some cheese, I fear.
Yeah.
Thing is, if we get to a point where corporates are just infiltrating us, that means we've made it.
Oh, we've made it.
That'd be great.
So,
Not paying us, but
they're not paying us, but they are infiltrating us.
We haven't made it in the economic sense.
or the real sense
No,
of the word.
The actual sense.
We have only made it in our own minds.
Branching off kind of like things I love a bit of bread.
Yeah.
I love bread. I love cheese.
Oh, I love bread. Yeah.
I love bread.
I don't know why you wouldn't love bread.
Some
It's
people
really
do.
good.
No,
Some people
exactly.
don't, yeah.
But why do people not like bread?
When you don't like bread, so many doors are closed.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is
very
true.
true. Very true.
That's true. Lucy, my darling wife, is not the biggest fan of bread.
But is that your homemade bread she
No,
dislikes?
my homemade bread is amazing.
Oh, sure.
I
dare you.
haven't made it in ages. How dare you?
How dare you?
But I used to love like a ploughman's. I don't have them very often now,
Ploughman's
but
lunch.
I used to have them when I was younger. I don't really have them anymore.
But it's like cheese.
Because usually there's a burger on offer when
and you do love.
I love
just
a
that
burger.
meat though.
I just
yeah,
love that meat.
That's sweet meat.
That meat disc,
give me a reconstituted meat disc, please.
please.
But no, just like cheese, love it. Branston pickle, any kind of pickle, big fan.
Mhm.
Apple is a bit of a left field, but very good thing. Cheese and apple.
Yeah, it's not as bad as pineapple on a pizza, which can go fuck itself.
It's amazing though.
No.
No.
Yes.
Oh my god, are you on that
Oh
side?
my god. Next episode.
Dun dun.
I bet you put cream on your scones first. Oh no, we talked about
Put cream on my cheese pizza first.
it. Sure.
I'm not an animal.
Your pineapple is
I'm one of those
too
monsters
big.
in Devon.
Right then.
I've got a couple of love letters for you.
let's wrap
Oh,
through
we've got some
loves.
more, have we?
Yeah, fire through some love.
I'll give you one from Sim,
Oh,
Sim,
cool. Thanks,
Sim.
Sim.
Friend of the show.
friend of the show.
What
He
you
says, I love a good series of books.
Oh.
Oh, you
I-
like books?
I've recently discovered The Dark Tower. It's been around for years and I've always seen it on the shelf. And who would have guessed a book that is still going 30 years later was a bloody joy,
Oh, it's bloody.
is what he says.
Oh, I
It's a
don't think I
bloody
want to
joy,
read that.
he
I don't
says.
like gore.
Although he doesn't like the Hollywood adaptation of it.
I haven't seen
That was
I
Idris
heard-
Elba, wasn't it?
It
Yes.
was.
And it didn't do
Idris
terribly
Elba.
well.
I heard it wasn't great.
Oh, really? I have not heard
Although
it.
I did quite like the trailer.
I like the trailer.
I was like, ooh, if that were the movie,
Ooh.
I'd give it a thumbs up.
I'd give it a thumb up. It's
1.5 thumbs.
I feel like The Dark Tower's been on my horizon for a long time.
I found.
That's a bit.
Yeah, when you look out the window,
It's
you always.
actually quite fitting, yeah. It should...
I remember hearing about it a long time ago and being interested, but feeling like I couldn't read it because I felt like I wasn't familiar enough with Stephen King's other stuff. And I don't know if you have to be.
Maybe one day
Maybe one day.
we'll finally have our rendezvous.
Ren-
Have a Dark Tower.
Rendezvous.
Rendezvous.
We need of
I have one more for you.
Thanks.
If that's all right, if you'll indulge me.
Give us that love.
And more specifically, indulge Andrew Galvin,
Andrew Galvin, friend of the show.
who says, after listening to this week's episode, he wrote this a while ago,
Oh dear, we're bad people.
I'm hoping this is the time and place for new music. No. Because my love is the band Confidence Man. They're Australian and their album sounds like every novelty 90s dance hit had a baby, which exploded upon birth, and this is the sound of that happening. But it's amazing and the most fun I've had in a long time. I reckon even Chris would like it.
Oh, what does that
Oh
mean?
my.
He thinks you're the biggest hater of the three of us.
He thinks that I hate music, which I do.
He's bringing that up off the back of my hate, which I think was my last hate from the last show, which was eons ago, and that was when people try and force their music tastes at like bad times. I think so. I think that's what he's referencing.
Yeah,
there.
let it go, Andrew.
Yeah,
Give
Andrew.
us some
Jeez,
space, all
come
right?
on. Like,
we've all got opinions.
Don't tell me what to do!
I'm not just gonna like this thing because you told me. They are a really good band, though. I've listened to them.
Oh, really?
They're great.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
I listened to them because Andrew
Confidence
Galvin
Man.
like held me down, and he like screwed two headphones into my ears, and I nearly bled to death.
Hey, you like this?
But he was like, if you like this, I'll free you from your headphone prison.
I heard he made you eat a CD.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Not just one either. He bought 20 Confidence Man CDs of
got
the
it,
same
then.
album as well. I'm happy to eat different albums, Andrew.
You want a bit of variety in your diet.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
a bit of everything on repeat.
But they are good, so give them a shot.
You know what? I'll check them out.
All right then, John.
I probably won't.
You really are the bigger tailor of this show, aren't you?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to do that.
You're the Eeyore of this show.
Thank you.
Well,
It's not a compliment.
Oh,
shall I take us home with some love?
Yes.
do it.
My love
Love me.
is DIY.
Oh my.
Which is a topic which is very close to my heart and lungs at the moment.
Close to your lungs.
Because as Nick will sympathise, no doubt, I'm currently renovating houses. Currently,
Yes,
we are indeed.
Lucy and I are trying to make our first house at home, and you and Ali are trying to do the same.
Indeed.
And even just before recording this podcast, I went and did an hour of kind of...
The shorts have got paint on them.
that is actually plaster dust. Which
Oh,
is
very
very invasive and very toxic.
Very. Oh,
Well,
wonderful.
it's not toxic, but
It could
But
be.
you will die.
It could
it's
be
not
toxic.
great. I was wearing a mask and some goggles.
Oh, well, I'm sure it'll be fine.
But I got to say, like, it's very satisfying to get a near immediate return on your time into something.
Very
Which is
good.
not to say there isn't like an ass ton of work still to do, but it's like very close to getting one room renovated, if you will. Like I was working on the bedroom earlier, or the room that will become the bedroom.
Yes.
And I'm working on trying to get all the surfaces fixed so that Lucy can follow behind me and paint. It's like
right,
a kind of
okay.
a 1-2 punch kind of thing. And I'm like, this has gone from looking a bit shit to now I'm like, yeah, I put an hour's work in and I can actually see the results. And like, and I'm dirty and I'm tired and I've got dust everywhere, but it's good.
But
Satisfying.
you'll look at it in a year or a few months or whatever and think, yeah, we did all this and it was worth it.
I think that's the thing.
Damn
It's like,
it.
so many
God
jobs
damn
you
it.
do, I think in like the daily grind, there's no immediate gratification.
No,
No, absolutely. I'm
It's
a big
so
believer in like doing something in a way to get finished results regularly throughout the process because that motivates you to keep going. I think that's probably why I like working on comics, because you can do it a page at a time and you can get a page done and there's a real great sense of achievement from that. And then you're happy to go on. Even if it's 100 pages you've got to draw, you've done one. You can look at that and go, that's done. It's like in a house, do a room's done. So it's great. Love it.
Little steps.
Exactly.
Little incremental steps. And I'm saying like I was making progress and then that progress slowed because one wall, the only wall in the house which had wallpaper on, is in a right state.
Oh,
And strip the paper off, found more paper.
Nice.
I was like an
Nightmare.
archaeologist. I found like 4 layers of paper.
Found an Egyptian
the
mummy.
walls are just much, much further away than you first anticipated.
The room is huge now.
It's actually, we found a whole wing that was just kind of like encased.
What's
in
in
paper.
here? Oh no!
Oh,
We found like a
Orchard.
a green, a purple, a fake wood wallpaper.
oh, what? Really?
Oh.
Another layer under it. Got to orange, and orange is like the base layer.
Right.
And then the music stopped and you had to unwrap it. And...
But yeah, so that was a pain. But then I moved to another room, and again, that feeling of gratification was better because it was a better use of time. And with just one more session, that room will be ready to paint.
Nicely done.
oh, wonderful!
Feels good.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. My love is a man named Gunpei Yokoi.
Oh my!
He's a Japanese chap, and he is the inventor of the Game Boy.
Ah,
So he's obviously very close to my heart. He
After the operation.
absolutely, yeah, he's in there. He did very well with that. Obviously, the Game Boy is a very successful console, and
Yes, I've
he
heard of that.
worked on the Game Boy Color as well. But then he worked on the Virtual Boy, which was a sort of ill-fated console that Nintendo produced, which was kind of like a pair of goggles you put on, and it had, though you didn't really put it on, you sort of crouched because it was on its own little tripod.
oh sure.
These are goggles on a tripod, imagine that. And then you sort of crouch or sit next to that and put your eyes into it. And it was, to create a sense of 3D, it was a goggle idea. But unfortunately, all it ended up doing was giving practically everyone who used it a migraine.
Wasn't it notable for destroying not only your eyes but your back as well?
Yeah, because you had to sort of hunch over it. It's really, I've actually had the privilege of playing on one because there aren't many in the world anymore because a lot of them were destroyed and thrown away. And
Right.
people who still have them are amazing collectors. And I've played on one in a gaming shop. But yeah, so he made that. And technologically, it's a marvel. Like, it's incredible what he achieved. But there was just a lot of bad things in there. So he did the sort of Japanese equivalent of falling on his sword in business. And he just straight up retired. He was just like, no, I'm not good enough to work for Nintendo anymore. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Wow. No.
And like, no one forced him out because he was doing great work, but he left of his own accord because he felt like he had ashamed himself, as it were. And then a little while after that, Bandai got in contact with him and said, we would like you to work for us and make another console. And it had been long enough for him to think, okay, I'll give it another shot. And he made another handheld console called the Wonder Swan, which is a console that only came out in Japan. But then shortly after that, and while the Wonder Swan was still at its height, he was killed in a car accident. Which is quite sad, obviously. But I just sometimes think to myself, well, he was a genius. He did some amazing stuff. He made amazing consoles, which still last today, and people still love them. The Wonder Swan, the Game Boy, to some extent, Virtual Boy. And I just sometimes think, like, just imagine if he was still alive. What would he have done? What other things would he have made? But sadly, he's not with us anymore. But I love his work.
But his legacy kind of lives on, really.
Indeed it does. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, very special man.
What was his name again?
Gunpei Yokoi.
And Game Boys used to have printers.
There was a Game Boy printer.
I remember printing something off a Game Boy once.
Yeah, it wasn't because it had a camera. There's the Game Boy camera. And then you could print the pictures. But honestly, like the Game Boy screen was about 7 by 7 pixels.
Yeah.
And so any
just
picture
glorious
was a little bit low res. But no, yeah, it existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was like a receipt would come off.
It was exactly like that.
That's sort of like my face.
And then it was a sticker. You could peel it off.
Yeah.
It was such an odd...
It was really odd because the screen was never good enough to warrant a camera, let alone a printer, and yet still they
in an era when webcam... Well, I don't think the internet existed really, but web cameras weren't that good and small anyway.
No.
So...
And this was a huge thing because it was like the cartridge part went into the back of the Game Boy, and then this huge thing was like on top of the Game Boy that had like the camera lens in it and everything. It's bizarre. I don't think Gunpei had anything to do with that, though. So,
oh, all right.
Yeah,
that's
all right.
just as well. I'll give you one.
Yeah.
It relates to a series of films that I'm very passionate about.
Football films.
Not football films.
Star Wars films.
Not Star Wars films.
Oh, gas. What?
I'm going to hit you with it now.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No. Now I am.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes, of course you are very passionate about
Boom.
this.
I made Liz watch it the other week.
Oh, yeah?
She didn't care for it.
Oh, fine.
That's fine. But I enjoyed it again. And we had our marathon not that long ago.
That was great
And I
fun.
just remember thinking that night, we'd watched, 12 solid hours of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I genuinely don't feel like I've been sitting here for 12 hours.
No.
In a good way.
It was good.
My biggest regret is that I had a bit of a bad neck.
You were quite tired, weren't
And
you?
it made me really...
You started dozing off towards
It
the
made me
end.
really groggy, and it annoys me that I fell asleep. Because I was like, oh, damn it, I feel I missed a lot of the good stuff.
We got through it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I still think they're, film-wise, masterpieces.
They're great.
I think, more so than any other film, I think they're amazing to look at.
It's not the kind of thing you revisit very often, I think, because of the length.
You have to
of
commit.
them. Yeah.
You have to commit to it, and we did for... Well, when did we watch it? The week before last? We watched them all in a week.
Did you?
I sort of made Liz sit down and
It's
watch
remarkable that after her not being interested in the first one, she still carried on to 2 and 3. That's probably just belligerence on your part, isn't it?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, absolutely. I just sort of went, oh, should we watch
You
Lord
are
of the
watching.
Rings? What should we watch? Hint. Hint.
We're watching
hint.
Lord of the
I
Rings.
enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah,
so,
good. That's all that matters.
That's the
really.
I
main
feel
thing.
doing it in a week is perhaps a more sensible way of doing it.
Rather than in one day.
Rather than in one day, yeah.
But that was the point of our event. We need to do another one of those
We
for a
really
series.
do, because
do,
I
yeah.
really enjoyed that. That was a lot
Back
of
to the
fun.
Future or
We should do
something.
Back to the Future is a good one.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
BTTF.
BTTF.
Got there in the end.
But yeah, I really do love Lord of the Rings. Having initially been quite lukewarm towards it, I now look back on them and think they're wonderful. And the Hobbit films are on ITV at the moment, which aren't as good, but sort of that's what stirred up me wanting to watch them again.
Yeah, it's-
I haven't seen all the Hobbit films.
Yeah, because
I've seen the first
I think
two.
I went to the
third one's on this Saturday.
Is it?
Yeah,
On the telly?
that could be. Yeah. Oh, we don't have conventional television
No, we don't.
Whatever.
because we're horrible.
You'll find it on
millennials.
the internet.
Millennials.
It's not that good.
Nah, I think.
It's not as good as Lord of the Rings.
But
No, definitely not.
it's interesting though, isn't it? Because I think I saw the first one at the cinema.
Yeah, I saw the first Hobbit.
And-
Well, I think everyone was quite excited for it
yeah.
because they thought it would be as good.
Yeah, and
And it
I
wasn't.
didn't massively care for it.
No,
if I'm honest.
no.
And then I think last year, actually, yeah, almost exactly a year ago, we were down at the Eden Project for my sister-in-law's birthday,
Very good.
and we're staying in this weird little kind of converted eco, like a tanker. Oh no, like a shipping container. That's what I meant to say. They made like little hostel-y kind of units out of shipping
Oh, that's
containers.
cool.
And they had a TV in it, and the second Hobbit movie came on. And I remember watching it, and even though it's not
The Hobbit.
great, it's not amazing, it was kind of nice to revisit that world.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
we did keep watching it. I was thinking, like, this isn't good. Or isn't good by comparison to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Like,
and
maybe
it's difficult. It's very difficult for it to be compared to Lord of the Rings because the book's not as good. Frankly,
It's also very
It's
difficult.
it's a children's story, The Hobbit, And
Yeah.
then the idea of Lord of the Rings is that it was a continuation once those kids had got a bit older.
Yeah.
That was the idea.
It's also very difficult to separate it from a world we like. I think that's why when I watch, because I've seen the first 2 Hobbit movies, and I sort of come away very confused about how I feel about them. I think if there had been no Lord of the Rings, I'd have been like, they're shit. But because I'm in, like you say, enjoying going back there, I can't disconnect that.
It's just got this really daft thing where, because even though The Hobbit was written first, you can't escape the reality that The Lord of the Rings made it to the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
an
you
interesting
get
point.
these weird things where it's like, we know, obviously it's the problem where we know everyone's fine because they make it, because Gandalf and Bilbo make it through into Lord of the Rings. Also, spoilers.
Oh no.
But it's like in the Lord of the Rings original trilogy, like there's some incredibly powerful moments, like when the eagles come down.
Yeah.
And then in The Hobbit,
Like, oh, we should do that Eagles thing
the
again.
eagles turn up, and I'm like,
It's not quite as big.
it's not as great because you can't do it twice.
The thing is,
No,
the Lord
you
of the
can't.
Rings films, they had to cut a lot out because obviously they're huge, massive books.
Hmm.
The Hobbit book is shorter than just one of the Lord of the Rings books.
Yeah.
So, and padding that out over 3 films, they obviously struggled because they brought in 2 characters who weren't in the books as main characters.
Yeah.
The elves. Or 3, there was another elf.
Put that lady elf in there. She's just invented.
She
wasn't
just invented Tauriel. And Legolas obviously wasn't in the Hobbit books.
And yet they're like, oh, he's
It
tradable.
didn't need to be 3 films. I think if they compacted it into 1 film, it would have been a lot better.
That was
never going to happen.
That was
because
a really weird decision doing that.
it was originally 2 films, then they decided
I
to make
think
it
2
3.
would have been all right because it's still quite a big quest, and there would be a sense like because a lot of the Harry Potter movies are condensed down into 1 film. Obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
like each book, it has to be 1 film, and that makes them feel shorter. It doesn't feel like a whole school year. I think if you put The Hobbit across 2 films, that would have been fine, and just not added anything, not taken anything away, just like bam, 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 straight through it.
Yeah,
But whatever.
there you go. Anyway, we've sort of gone, well, not off topic, but I love Lord of the Rings,
Hey!
not The Hobbit. There you go,
Oi, oi,
done.
oi.
Good for you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
It's
very
important
much
to like
for
things.
that sincerity.
Well, that was a
It was
nice,
a good old episode.
That was a nice episode.
Yeah.
Fine, yeah.
It's almost like we got our flow back.
Hey, we got
Just as,
Mojo back.
Just as I'm off on holiday.
Just as the biggest hater leaves the gang.
Yay!
So
I might come back completely different.
You could be a new person
I could be. I won't. But
Seems unlikely.
I could come back.
wearing a Trump hat.
Yeah, full of joy. Well, the
Maybe.
places I'm going, I don't think I'll be coming back.
But yeah, what do we think? 1, love or hate?
Oh, good point. I think love won.
I agree. Well, your opinion's irrelevant now because it's 2 against 1.
Yeah, we went out anyway. So say what you want, doesn't matter.
No comment.
Oh, I see.
It's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Hate.
Even though we had a lot of fun talking about our hates, and I think we had a lot of fun here tonight.
I think we can all agree we've had fun.
But it's time to get serious.
Except the people listening.
Yeah.
But hey, what's up with drugs?
We barely consider the listeners.
But yeah, I think the loves were heartfelt.
I do. I also agree with that.
So
Yeah, whatever.
do you wanna take us out?
Okay.
Somehow.
Do you want the usual?
Oh, the usual, please. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, where's Wally? Where's Wally?
Okay. Fine.
Ah, that's